This video is sponsored by Surfshark, the best VPN on the market. Surfshark is an app or browser extension that allows you to change your location to access websites in other countries and keep you safe from hackers. For example, we here in Ireland can access other countries' Netflix libraries, streaming services such as DAZN in Spain for those all-important Premier League games. Surfshark keeps you safe and private by protecting everything you do online. When your device connects to the internet, all that information is, in a way, blurred out. Surfshark is particularly useful for keeping you safe if you use public Wi-Fi, such as a college or a cafe. Surfshark allows you to use one subscription on unlimited devices, meaning that you can even share an account with friends and family. On top of this, Surfshark offers a 30-day money-back guarantee, so if you don't like it, you can even get your money back. Our sign-up offer gives you Surfshark VPN for just over €2 per month and up to 4 months free. Why not scan the QR code on screen or use the link in the description to take advantage of this offer. What is up, my friends? We are live. You are very welcome along to Tuesday night's late night agenda, where the breaking news of the evening is, of course, the interest from Bayern Munich in Luis Diaz. That looks like it has moved on a little bit, but they've still forgotten one important thing, and that is talking to Liverpool about it. So we'll take you through that. We'll talk about what club was rejected by Xavi Simons. We will discuss the situation with Tyler Morton and his future. A little bit of a funny from Alexis McAllister. We'll talk Darwin Núñez, Ben Doak, and lots of other interesting bits and pieces. And it looks like Arsenal could be closing in on a striker as well. We'll talk about that. One bit of breaking news today from the world of football that I guess isn't really Liverpool related, but we were vaguely linked with this gentleman. So, AFC Bournemouth have just said we're delighted to announce that Antoine Semenyo has signed a new contract at the club till 2030. So, you know, it wasn't really a player we were looking at, but we had been linked with him, so I thought I'd give you the update on that one. So, yeah, look, a lot for us to go through tonight. The one thing that Bayern Munich don't need to figure out here is to start talking to the clubs. Because they've talked to Wolfmade, they talked to Wirtz, they talked to Diaz, but they haven't spoken to Liverpool yet that I'm aware of. So they may get a shock when they hear the asking price, because we know it is upwards of €85 million. So loads to go through. We're going to give you some really humbling but positive news about Anfield Agenda as well in a few minutes, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a pretty cool day for us here, so we'll fill you in on that one. But most importantly, I hope that you guys have had a good day wherever you are. I've been sitting back enjoying some of the Wimbledon coverage. Right, Liz, how are we? Liz said, it's a shame you aren't relevant. I know, it's such a shock, Liz, isn't it? It is a shame. Hopefully we'll get relevant someday, Liz, you know. I will have my little moment in a minute, Liz, with that. Don't worry about it. But yeah, look, just been an interesting day in the world of football. We know that the new PSR cycle has started, so clubs can start to be a bit more active in the market if they needed to, well, watch the pounds beforehand. So look, where we start off with today, let's start off with that Xavi Simons news, if I may. Because Bild in Germany have reported that Newcastle United have shown interest in signing Xavi Simons from RB Leipzig, but he doesn't want to join them. That's according to that report in Germany. And it looks as if that has been a struggle for Newcastle in this window, is to be able to attract the players. Seems like the money is there, the will is there, but players don't want to make that move up to St. James's Park, and even though they are in the Champions League, so let's wait and see what happens there. But it looks as if Xavi Simons has rebuffed Newcastle's interest. We're going to talk a little bit tonight as well about Chelsea and their interest in, well, every single player under the planet, or on the planet, I should say. Can we talk about City getting beat? Yes, of course. It would be rude of me, Marc, wouldn't it, not to have a little laugh. Manchester City, on behalf of all of us in Europe, thanks for embarrassing European football. If it wasn't bad enough Real Madrid couldn't beat Al Hilal in the group stage, now we have to look at Pep Guardiola's Manchester City being knocked out of the Club World Cup by Saudi Arabian side Al Hilal. And I have to listen to the likes of Serge Milinkovic-Savic talking about everyone laughing at him 2 years ago when he went over there, saying it was for the money. It still is, mate. It's still a terrible league, but fair play to Inzaghi and Al Hilal, but it is quite embarrassing for European football that Manchester City were knocked out by Al Hilal. They should have been wiping the floor with them, in all honesty. Even the chances created in the first half. But what I do hope is that this kind of gives people a little bit of a moment to pause about Manchester City's resurgence, because like I said to you guys a few days ago, I don't find their business all that impressive. They're not striking the fear into me with the transfer business that they've done so far this summer. So that is just the latest of, well, another setback for Manchester City. Although their players might not feel that way. At least now they'll get a little bit of a break before they have to come back for pre-season. Mav, Ben Jacobs saying Liverpool's financial year ended 31st of May, unlike most teams, hence our quick start, and we can spend another 200 million without outgoings, only required to keep squad depth down. Well, we also have no more overseas spots at the minute, mate. We're fully stocked up there, so we would have to move a few overseas players on or start signing homegrown talent, which we'll talk about in a while. So, right, ladies and gentlemen, let me just ask you this about Diaz, because I feel like we need to start the stream off with a poll about Luis Diaz. Do we think he leaves this summer, is where I'm going to start with it, because I really feel like it's almost nailed on at this point that he's going to leave, because the amount of interest that is seemingly out there for him, and Liverpool being unwilling to give him a new deal. So, let's see what we think here. Does Diaz leave this summer? So that's going to be our first poll of the night. Does Luis Diaz leave this summer? For what it's worth, I've always thought that it was likely if Liverpool get the offer that they deem is acceptable, which seemingly is upwards of 85 million euro. And then it's going to be down to Luis Diaz, of course, to decide if he wants to take any of these offers if they come in. Now, again, I don't know if Bayern Munich are going to get to the numbers required, but this reported by a couple of clubs. Actually, hang on one second. I just want to get... Yeah, there we go. This reported by CF Bayern, so Christian Falk. It's also been reported by others in Germany. Things are getting serious between Bayern Munich and Luis Diaz. Max Erbel has now made a concrete approach to the Colombian winger. Concrete figures were discussed in order to prepare an offer. Diaz is open to a move away from Liverpool. And I dare say he is open to a move away from Liverpool, particularly if the Reds aren't willing to offer him a higher salary. So do Bayern know the asking price? Because they're going to have to pay it, because Liverpool won't budge on it, because they know Al Nassr are preparing a big offer for Luis Diaz. They know Barcelona are still kind of hovering around as well. So if Bayern are serious about wanting Luis Diaz, well, they best come up with a number north of 85 million euro. Frank, how are we, dude? Welcome in. Good to see you, my man. Thank you for your continued support as well. All the way over in Australia, mate. 44 months with us. Thank you so much, Frank. Why are we letting Diaz go? Look, I understand it. I've said this all the way through. I get it. I think he should get a pay rise. I don't want Luis Diaz to be moved on. But the way it's looking, it just feels like Liverpool aren't going to give him a pay bump. Or at least anywhere near of a pay bump that he'd be happy with. So, in Liverpool's position, I've always said the club are relaxed about it. They can look at this and think, yeah, we can let him run down his deal and leave for free in 2 years, and we probably still have gotten value out of it. Or somebody can come in with an offer that makes Liverpool take notice, and if it's open for Diaz to move and he wants to go, then Liverpool have plenty of time in this window as it sits to go out there and look at a viable replacement. But I totally understand. I agree with all of you who are saying it's weird. It is, because Diaz has had a good season. So you're not going to get any argument from me about Diaz deserving a pay bump. He absolutely does. But it doesn't look like it's going to come. When is somebody going to buy Núñez, Alan? We'll move on to that one in a minute, bro, because I'm getting a bit nervous. I'm getting a bit nervous about that one. Look, can I just say a huge thank you to you? And you probably don't know why yet, but I'm going to bring it up on screen now. As you can see, in the latest update for June, Anfield Agenda is now the second most viewed dedicated fan channel in the world. Just behind the United Stand, ahead of AFTV, our little two-man operation, our little community of Reds here, as you can see, amassed almost 11 million views there in that month. And you can see our competition down in 20th place if you click into it. Way, way below us. In fact, 10 times below us. But that's thanks to you. And we just wanted to start off tonight with a massive thank you for helping us to get to that position. Never, ever, ever did I think our little community, our little channel would get up there to those type of numbers and heights. But it is only because of your incredible support. So from myself, from Connor, from both of our families, thank you for your continued support. We know who put us there, and we're going to continue to work hard to try and make you guys proud of our little community. So thank you all so much. It's I don't even know what to say. It's unbelievable. Never expected it. And yeah, thank you. Little us. Look at us punching above our weight there. Second on the list. To have gotten more views than AFTV over the course of June was a shock, because they're a far bigger channel than us with, more subscribers than us. And yeah, it's only because of you guys, as I said. So thank you for your continued support and for helping our wonderful little community grow. Right, let's keep cracking with the news. Right, let's talk about Arsenal for a minute, because this piece here from L'Équipe, so, a very reputable organisation in France, say Arsenal are closing in and reaching an agreement, or a verbal agreement, with Sporting Lisbon striker Victor Gyökeres. Now, I don't know if this is a bit of brinksmanship from Arsenal as they try to get RB Leipzig to lower the fee for Benjamin Šeško, but L'Équipe say the deal is now advancing. So keep an eye on this one. You may see Victor Gyökeres becoming an Arsenal player, but it's an interesting one, isn't it? Because I'll sit here and tell you that it's not overly impressive, but he will score goals. The man will score goals. So, interesting one there. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think Arsenal will sign him? Or do you think they're using this as maybe a little bit of bait to try and lure RB Leipzig back in to negotiate lower for the price of Benjamin Šeško? Who's number 20 on the list? Red Men. And again, I'm not saying this to belittle anybody because it's not my way, but our Clips channel beat Red Men TV for views. Our Clips channel. That's how far we've all come. So again, thank you for an incredible support that I still don't understand. But yeah, it's mental. But it's probably one of the proudest days I've had as a human being. I'm not joking. Outside of, getting married and your kids, to be the second most viewed dedicated fan channel throughout June in the world is absolutely insanity. Right, let's talk about this from Marky. Come on, Craig. The Red Men channel are miles better, mate. You run on clicks and sensationalism. I applaud your approach, but you can't compete on quality. Look, as I've always said, I'm not here to belittle anybody else or to talk about anybody else, but I am a far better content creator than Red Men TV. I don't care what you say. I am far more entertaining, far more charismatic, far greater numbers, and I don't need your approval, mate. We wipe the floor with them and all the competition, and I don't have to sensationalize anything. People tune in here because of one thing: community. Not me, not sensationalism, community. So, again, I respect all of our peers in this industry, but I will never, ever admit that we're not better, because we simply are. And the numbers speak for themselves. Every watch along, wipe the floor with them. Every month on YouTube, wipe the floor with them. So how do you answer that to me, Mr. Smart Arse? How do we answer that one? If they're doing a watch along and we're doing a watch along, we're both talking about the same game, and we're trebling, quadrupling the numbers, how am I not supposed to sit here and push back and say that we are better? Because we are. Simple as that. But by all accounts, you are, of course, entitled to your opinion, but the numbers, sir, don't back up that opinion. The numbers make it pretty fucking clear that we're doing quite well. So I'll be proud of myself, and you can kiss my ass, quite frankly. Right, let's move on. There's always one, isn't there? There's always one. The numbers don't lie. Fight your corner. I don't have to fight my corner. Our corner fights itself. Wipe the fucking floor with them. Our Clips channel beat them, mate. Our Clips channel, with 51,000 subscribers, beat a channel with 530,000 subscribers. But yeah, there's always one. I don't know what else to say, honestly. It's mad. I'm proud of us anyway. Let me say that. I'm proud of us. And it's a very proud day for all of us. But again, there's always somebody that wants to try and take you down. Brian said, I put you second to Tall, but fair play, this is a unique and entertaining channel. I put us second to Tall as well, by the way. But we're just talking YouTube numbers here. I think the Anfield Wrap are the best fan channel, bar none. I've said that for a long time. I certainly wouldn't put us above them in my eyes either, mate. They're brilliant. I've said this for ages. I've nothing but respect. And the way that they've gone about building their platform is brilliant. And I wish them nothing but the best. And I agree with you. But we're only talking about YouTube here, and on YouTube, so far, we're doing quite well. And I'm very proud of that. Right, Acentino said, I want to pay him, but the years he wants in my mind is the sticking point. They're getting younger in the squad. 150 would be realistic. I don't disagree, man. I don't disagree, but the Konate... Oh, excuse me, we're talking about Diaz, sorry. My mind's gone wandering, sorry. For Diaz... Yeah, I think 150 would be fair as well, and I don't really have much of an argument to push back, but like I've said, fan opinion in this one isn't swaying the club, and the club seemingly aren't willing to give him that big pay bump, so yeah, I don't know what to say. Yeah, I don't know what to say, and sorry, I'm still stuck on that lad's comment because... Yeah, I don't agree. I just strongly don't agree. I think Red Men TV are boring as a fan channel. Whereas, as I openly said, I think the Anfield Wrap are brilliant. But on terms of quality, let me put it this way. If I was them and I had the access to the club and I had all the commercial opportunities they had and I was getting my ass whooped by a fat ball little Irishman sitting in the corner of his living room, I'd be a little bit embarrassed by that, to be honest with you. But, you know, we'll talk about this again in a year or two when we've got the new studio build, and we'll talk about quality then. And I promise you, mate, if I had 1/10 of the opportunities commercially they'd been given, we'd be flying. Abu Abian, hey buddy, hope all is well with you and your family. Just a thought, if Ben Doak is worth around 20 to 25 million and we deduct that in the process of Marc Guehi from the Liverpool side, wouldn't it be a sweet deal? Well, it's absolutely possible, Abu. I don't know it's going to happen, but there's an interest from Crystal Palace in Ben Doak, or at least there was in January. We certainly know we have an interest in Marc Guehi, and in an ideal scenario, yeah, that would be great. You know, they get a player thereafter, a young up-and-coming attacker. They may lose Eze as well in this window. We know Spurs, Arsenal looking around him. So they're probably going to have a space to bring in an exciting young talent. We know Ben Doak is that. So yeah, I wouldn't rule that out, my man. I wouldn't rule that out. It's certainly possible. Candor Music said, to be fair, you rock. Thank you. Appreciate you. Look, I'm not here to big us up, mate. I just was very proud of those numbers. And again, I think I've every right to be proud of them. I didn't come on to belittle anybody. But, you know, when somebody says, let's be honest, you're not as good as Red Men TV, I'm going to fight my corner because the numbers show otherwise. And I'm pretty fucking proud of what we've accomplished. Shane said, hey, Craig, what a day in the big smoke on Sunday. I certainly was a proud Kerry man coming out of Croker onto Jones's Road up the Kingdom. Well, you should be proud, Shane, and well done to Kerry for their win. Sincerely, mate, well done. I know we've got a rivalry over the years, probably the two greatest footballing counties, but wishing you nothing but the best, mate, for the remainder of the championship. Right, let's keep going. Are we all in and Gay? It's a tough one. I hope so. I hope so, because there's a deal to be done there, but I just hope that we don't... I want to say I hope we don't lowball Palace, but I don't mind us lowballing them. I just hope we don't lowball them enough that it causes issues. You know, it's looking like the player wants to come to us. Certainly looking as things stand, like Liverpool are very interested in him, but we'll have to see if an offer is forthcoming. I would imagine there is an offer, to be fair. I think there will be an offer very soon. Right, let's keep going. Do you think Gay will come to Liverpool? Said Roosba. So again, I've no inside information on this, mate. But my gut feeling is, looking at the way it's shaping up, yeah. And I think it's very clever business as well. If I could be greedy for a moment, I'd love Konate to agree a new deal. I'd love us to bring in Marc, Joe Gomez, Virgil van Dijk. That's an incredible centre-back options for me as a fan. But also, if Konate does move on, I think Liverpool may move towards somebody like Jarell Haddo. And I would equally be as happy with a centre-back option of Guehi, Haddo, Van Dijk, and Joe Gomez. I'd be over the moon with that as well. To me, that's good options. But I'd be a liar if I said I'm not sad at the Konate situation and the way it sits at the minute, because I don't want to go into next season with that whole conversation again for all of us every single week, talking about will we agree a deal, will he be leaving for free, reading the headlines about Madrid. I just hope it can be resolved whatever way this summer. Craig, enjoy the fact that haters are coming here to tell you they're better whilst being here. Look, I just found it very unnecessary, you know. Just let us have our moment to say how proud we are, and yeah, I don't know. I don't get it. You know, as I said, I'm really proud of that today, and it's the most proud I've been since we started this channel to see us up there. Yeah, it justifies the 8 years we've put into this, working our asses off day after day. But there's always somebody. I don't know. Liz, you and Connor are both good Clints. I'm proud of this community. I'm incredibly proud of this community, Liz. Because without the community, there isn't anything. Craig, why Fabrizio didn't say anything in Isak's situation? I don't know, mate. I don't know Fabrizio personally. I think Liverpool are just playing the waiting game there to see how the negotiations go between Isak and Newcastle. And, you know, I'd hate to be a Newcastle fan in this window looking at it and reading about it all the time. I totally understand their perspective. And for what it's worth, I still don't think we'll end up signing Isak, but certainly pretty clear that we're interested, and whilst we haven't yet moved for anybody else. Now, Romano said that we'd started the negotiations for, or we're working on the deal for Ekitike, and I just don't believe that's the case. Now, I'm not saying our interest isn't there. Clearly it is. But I don't know if it was the wrong choice of phrase, perhaps, that he used, because I didn't see the context of the piece where he was speaking about it. But, you know, the line going around, Liverpool are working on signing Hugo Ekitike, I don't believe that to be the case. But I also think he may have just used the wrong choice of words. Craig, if we don't sell Núñez, will it mean our striker search would be over? I don't know. I don't know, mate, but I don't know. You know, I mean, what are the options there realistically? If we can't find a club that both pay the fee that Liverpool want and that he's happy with, alone with a possible sale at the end of it, but I don't know what to say. It's one of these really weird situations because we know he's got no future at Liverpool. We also know, for being honest, in our heart of hearts, that he's probably not worth the money that we're asking for, which is about £60 million. You know, if I was another team and I was looking at that number, I probably wouldn't think there was value in it either. But from a selfish point of view, obviously, I hope he moves on so Liverpool can bring in a striker as soon as possible. So, you know, either they're going to have to reevaluate the asking price, hope that a Saudi offer comes in that he's tempted in, or hope somebody else comes to the table, because the way it sits at the minute, at least what's being reported, there's a big gap in the valuations between what Liverpool are asking for and what Napoli are willing to pay. Carl, how are we? Really proud of the boys from Gory. Keep it going, lads. Our little town ruling the world. Look, it was just a really cool thing to see, you know. I still think of us as little Anfield Agenda, you know. So it's really cool to see, you know, up there with the big boys. Even, it just makes me proud, man. Makes me proud. Chris, all success is greatly deserved, man. Feck the haters. Do you know what, though? Just to be entirely honest, see this show, we might have to cancel this show because the ticket sales are absolutely shocking. And I'm always honest, even about our failings to you guys. So we said we'll give it another week to see if ticket sales pick up for Cork, because, you know, we decided on Cork because people reached out to us to say, come to Cork. So if it doesn't, in the next week, we're probably going to have to cancel it. Because when I say low, I mean shockingly low. Like, awful. Couldn't put the show on. It just wouldn't be feasible financially. Or it just wouldn't be much of a show. So if it doesn't, in the next week, we're going to have to probably knock that one on the head. But again, you know, you take a shot, you take a swing. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And I'm, you know, I can only be as upfront and honest as I always am with everybody. So if it doesn't, I'm just letting people know in case they have plans or anything like that. So yeah, it's weird because it doesn't seem that we can sell tickets in Ireland, which is a tough thing to say because you want your own country to be proud of you. But Dublin, you know, we couldn't shift tickets for Dublin. We couldn't shift tickets for Cork, by the looks of it. We can sell tickets in the UK. We can sell tickets up in Belfast. We can sell tickets anywhere else. But for whatever reason, we're not appealing to our countrymen and women, and that's okay. It hurts from a pride perspective because, as I mentioned, when you've seen this, and I've seen the tricolour up there second, it makes me very proud as an Irish person. But, you know, we can only take a swing, and if there's no interest, there's no interest. You know, it is what it is. Virginia said, Craig, do you think we could send Elliott as an incentive to Newcastle to sell Isak? Well, in theory, yes. But again, I don't know what Harvey will view as the best move for him. And he will have plenty of options. And actually on Harvey, while you're mentioning that, this was from David Ornstein, so you know it's very credible. David said that Liverpool want 40 million plus if there's a buyback option for Elliott, and 50 million without a buyback option for Elliott. 22-year-old regular, eyeing regular first team football at an elite, potentially Champions League side, and may even look to go abroad. Now, if you couple that with the story from Alex Crook, said Newcastle among the clubs who are interested in signing Harvey Elliott. Elliott is keen on a move away from Anfield this summer. So like I've said, it's not just that Liverpool would like to sell him. The player himself knows that he needs to get more minutes and deserves more minutes. You know, Harvey's a really good footballer. So it is interesting to see that, though, because you guys were asking me, was there much talk of a buyback or whatever? And I said to you, for me, I'd put a sell on, but the club, seemingly, according to David Ornstein there, have 40 million with a buyback or 50 million without. So again, let's wait and see what happens. Latest LFC news, Craig's got you covered. Oh, mate, always try and keep up to date. You know, because I just spend my days reading up about football anyway. You know, I'm always in my phone. I'm always reading up on stuff. Always trying to see what's happening. Yeah. Right, Rabadan said, congrats on the great achievement, Craig. Very deserved. I also noticed Alice thought football was in 15th place. She's something as unusual, as reasonable as unbiased United fan. Yes, she's a brilliant content creator, Alice. Said this a few times. She's really good at what she does. And to everybody that does this, you know, nothing but love. I just, I feel a bit deflated. I'm not going to lie, man. I feel deflated after that comment at the start. It's always the negative ones that stick in your head, you know. And I was really proud. I was so looking forward to coming on. And yeah, just spreading my little bit of happiness about it. But feels quite deflating. I don't know. We'll move on. I forgot Yay Al Halal, or in this case, Al Hilal. I genuinely, it's shocking to me that City didn't wipe the floor with them, because they should have. So yeah, Al Hilal threw City out, but it also let me know the City aren't where they should be at with regards to the quality going into next season. I don't think they're back just yet. And I was watching Cave Solocol do a little piece on Sky, and again, I didn't watch the game, so I don't know, but he said something about a potential setback for Rodri as well, or a potential he came off. So he came on and then came back off in extra time. And he said that there might be a bit of a setback around Rodri. And I don't know much more on it than that, to be honest. Cherky is not that good. I said this all the way through. All this hype around Cherky being on the same level as Wirtz is absolute silliness. And it will be shown out over the course of the season. There's a reason why one player went for 116 million and the other one went for, I don't know what it was, 34 million pound. And I'm very much happy with the boy we got, and I can't wait to see Florian take to the training pitch and of course in pre-season as well. Any more news on Collins, said Carl. Nothing that I've seen, mate. No, nothing new that I've seen on Collins. Again, though, I think it's probably, if you see Marc Guehi sign, I would say that the Collins move's probably dead in the water, because Liverpool probably look to a young centre-back from maybe 18, 19, 20 years of age, probably from Europe at that point. Yes, I am kind of intimating there at Joel Haddo, but yeah, I think if Marc Guehi comes in, that's Liverpool covering for the potential situation with Ibrahima Konate. Has John Duran joined Fenerbahce? I don't think he's joined them yet, but it's certainly going to happen on loan, the way it's looking. But I don't know if it's confirmed yet. But it was looking like it was all good to go anyway, from what I'd seen from Romano post yesterday. Sorry, where are we at? So, this piece from Bild said Eintracht Frankfurt are not negotiating with any clubs for Hugo Ekitike, and Hugo Ekitike hasn't verbally agreed to join any club. So, again, I don't know where we're at with the striker search, but we do have to keep an eye on the overseas places, because we're pretty stocked up with them at the minute. I don't think we have a spare overseas place as things stand, which is why I keep saying if we do move on a player, I expect us to look for the likes of Anthony Gordon or homegrown players. And by the way, I don't mean to be rude to the chat, but I couldn't give a fuck what our former right back does. So, yeah, just that. Don't be expecting a response from me on it, is all I'm saying. I couldn't care less. He's dead to me. Like I said, when he left Liverpool, I don't really give a shit what he does. And yeah, so just being honest about that one, I don't care. If he has an assist, 10 assists or 50 assists, he walked out on us, and that's where my head's at with that one. Would you be happy if we sold Diaz and then stole Rodrigo from Arsenal? I know a homegrown quota not likely, but he would be exciting. I mean, I'd love Rodrigo. I dare say most of us in the chat here would love Rodrigo. I just don't think it's feasible for a whole host of reasons. One, I think we'd ideally not like to do business with Real Madrid where possible, especially with the Konate situation maybe developing as it is. So I just don't think it's feasible. Do I think Arsenal will get him? I don't know. You know, they're looking at Eze, and if they get Eze, surely they're not going to be still in the mix for Rodrigo. It's an interesting one. I mean, if I was an Arsenal fan, I'd be quite torn on that, because Eze would definitely be a player that I would feel could push Arsenal on immediately, because knows the Premier League. And Rodrigo's an undoubted talent. So, you know, you're not going to be displeased if your club signed him. But I do feel like for the leap that they want to take, which is to try and get a Premier League, Eze would probably be a more sensible signing, because you're getting somebody who knows the league and is probably ready to take that step up as well. Okay. So, do me a favour. There's a lot of shittiness in the chat again. And again, I spoke the other day about the fact it's been a great week. If you see any of these snidey little fucks, just boot them out for me, please. Especially the ones that are lying. So, yeah, if you could do me a favour there, mods. And appreciate you. Right. This is why we love you. You don't give two shites about being politically correct. I don't think it's being politically correct. It's just, he's not one of us anymore. You know, I'm very matter of fact in my mind about these things. And I think, despite what other people might say, I actually think I've held back on what I really would like to say about the Trent move. Believe it or not, I actually think I've been quite measured in that, because deep down, I'm still fuming about it and the way he went about it. And also, while we're talking about our former right back, let me just fill you in on another little story. Bear with me. There's a story come out today from Craig Hope of the Daily Mail. Covers the northeast up there, covers Newcastle and whatnot. And he said, exclusive, Newcastle set to pull off a coup by signing Isak Moran after a 16-year-old turned down Liverpool's contract offer. The midfielder has captained England at youth level and looks like he will leave Liverpool to join Newcastle. Shall we play a little game? Who's his agent, everybody? Shall we guess? Does anybody want to guess who his agent is? Young Isak Moran, who could be departing Liverpool for Newcastle. Do we want to guess who his agent is? I'll give you a hint. He's also Robbo's agent. He's also his brother's. Do we know the answer yet? Yeah, him. So wasn't at all surprised to find that out when I'd seen that the young man was moving up to Newcastle. So yeah, to me that's just another one maybe out the way. So remove everything to do with him and his brother and move on. But there you go. Another situation of one of his agents or one of his clients moving on. Hates his hometown team. I just find the whole thing really weird. Yeah, it's just weird. I'm glad, to be honest, that, I'm not glad Trent left. Certainly not going to say that, but I'm glad that it ended up being shown up for what it was, which was a very premeditated, calculated, snidey move driven by ego. So, yeah. So, sorry. Let's move. Where are we at with the poll, actually? Let me check back in. So, does Diaz leave this summer? 72% of you guys say yes, he does leave this summer. I'm trying to think of something. Yeah, leave it with me. Trent's a snake, and you're spot on, Craig. He's the new Michael Owen, deserves to be considered a snidey rat. I find it sad, like I always said, if he had come out and said, I want to try something new, this is tearing my heart apart, and I've decided that I want to move on for a new chapter. If he had done that early and not strung people along and pretended like he was debating the decision while at the same time taking Spanish lessons, the whole thing just felt snidey. And again, we're supposed to play this pretendy game of thinking that everybody's a good person and nobody has selfish thoughts, or the club aren't going to be fucked over by somebody. I just don't like that. I don't like that we have to have this false pretense that at times football isn't a greasy business, because it is. Just look at FIFA and what's happening with football at the minute. PR is just that a lot of the time. PR. And, everybody knows what to say to make somebody look brilliant, to make somebody look like a great person. But honesty is lacking a lot of the time. And I would have had a lot more respect if he had just been honest and said, I just fancy something new and I want to move on. Same with Henderson and the way he left. It's just, I find it all insulting to our intelligence. LLJ said, if Diaz goes, we should sign Yildiz. What a player. He's really good. We were actually talking about him the other night, my man. He's a really good player. I don't know if we'd be able to get him out of Juventus. But I agree, he's a really good player. Right, so here's a poll, right? If Diaz does move on, give me 4 realistic options to put into a poll as a potential Diaz replacement. Actually, scratch that. Give me 3, because I'm forcing Anthony Gordon into the mix. So give me 3 other options that you would like to see Liverpool look at if indeed Luis Diaz does depart. Right. Messi. And Messi, he's unproven, that Messi lad. You know what I mean? Can he do it in the top level? Really? You know. Right. Who should replace Diaz if he leaves? So a lot of the names on that list, I have to say, are absolutely nonsensical. So Eze, as an example, there is no hope in hell Michael Edwards and Richard Hughes spend that money on a 27-year-old. Just not going to happen. It isn't the way that they go about it. Right, so let's try a few names on this list. 1 second. So that one. That one. Let's add a few more. Right. I'll throw Yildiz in because I do like that name as an option. And I've one more space, so I need one more name. Yeah, Rodrigo might be the answer. So, but I just don't see Liverpool paying that money. I'll stick Rodrigo in because, you know, let's let the public have their vote. So let's go with that one. Right, so here's the options. Fofana, Gordon, Yildiz, Rodrigo. There's 4 options, right? I don't think there's any hope in hell that we move for Rodrigo. As much as I'd love him, I just don't think there's a chance in hell that Liverpool go and give €100 million to Real Madrid. I just don't see it happening. Why are people so obsessed with Anthony Gordon? It's not that we're obsessed with it. It's just that I'm realistic. Like, do you want me to tell you we didn't try to sign him last summer? Do you want me to tell you that the club still aren't monitoring and we're talking to him? It's not that I'm obsessed with him. It's just that the club genuinely like him. And for me to not say that is just a lie. You know, we nearly signed him last summer. If that doesn't tell you something, I don't know what does. You know, I'm not saying he's the right one, but he has to be in there as an option because Liverpool are interested in him. It's quite simple, really. And if you look at the homegrown situation as well, we do need to keep an eye on that, and he ticks those boxes. So I'm not saying he's the right fit. For me, Nico Williams would be my one. I'd go get Nico Williams tomorrow. Or Rodrigo, like you guys have said. I love Rodrigo as well. I'm just trying to be realistic and look at this the way Liverpool look at it. And I just don't see the likes of Eze, as an example, as an option because of his age. I don't see Rodrigo as an option because of the Madrid situation. But we could afford him, and I'd love Rodrigo. I just don't see it being an option. On Fofana, actually, let's talk a little bit about him for a minute because Forest had agreed a deal with Lyon for Malik Fofana, but the player hasn't had any agreements to go to Forest yet. But it says Nottingham Forest have agreed a deal with Olympic Lyon for Malik Fofana, but no agreement yet on the player side. They go on to say Fofana is waiting for a Champions League club, with Chelsea still keen on the player. And again, that's from Fabrizio Romano. So Liverpool's still sitting back there as well. By the way, when are Chelsea going to have enough? You know, they're already looking at the likes of Kudus. They're still looking at Fofana. They've agreed a deal to bring in another winger. It just seems like Chelsea just feel like they have to be linked with every single player in the market. It's mad. Anfield Index did a comparison and it came out that Barcola was the best option. So, with all due respect, how do I say this? I could run numbers that could make Anthony Gordon look like the right answer. The right answer, by the way, is whatever the club deem it to be. So, Barcola, I think he would drive us insane for what it's worth. I think Barcola needs 5 chances to put one away when I've watched them. But is a talent, no denying that. But like I said, somebody doing a comparison, I don't know what to say to that. Like, what does that mean? I could put numbers side by side as well and try to make it look like one or the other. But ultimately, the club will make the decision, and they will have access to a lot more information than we do. So let's wait and see what happens with them. For what it's worth, by the way, I agree with you guys. I love Yildiz. I love Rodrigo. I'd love the likes of Nico Williams. I'd love them. I know that we have to keep an eye on the homegrown situation as well. Although, to be fair, if you sell Diaz, you are freeing up an overseas spot. Dermot said, Craig, watch you every show. Great show, thank you. If Elliott does leave Liverpool, will you change the name of your dog to Florian? No. Dog's called Harvey, and he'll stay that way. And look, if Harvey Elliott leaves Liverpool, I would genuinely follow his career closely anyway, because I like Harvey Elliott. I think he's a good footballer. I think he's a good fella. So yeah, no, I won't be changing the name of my doggy. People saying Adeyemi. Bransfield, I did miss your super chat, mate. I just haven't got round to it yet because I'm in the middle of a conversation. Does everybody just want to have a pop at me today? God almighty, I was in such a good mood coming on. Feels like everybody just wants to have a pop at me today. There you go. The answer is Takefusa Kubo. Cool. No, it isn't. It just isn't, mate. Again, Liverpool aren't going to bring in Kubo. But again, I agree with you, by the way. I like Kubo, but I just don't think he's going to be the answer. Personally, I just don't. So excited for next season. Hope you're well. I'm doing all right, Will. Thank you, my man. Right, reset. Let's go again. Right, let's run through some stories. So let's talk about this one from Ed Aarons. Liverpool could be willing to offer Ben Doak as part of a deal to sign Marc Guehi after Crystal Palace expressed interest in signing the Scotland forward in January. So here's a question for you. What would you ask for Ben Doak if you were Liverpool in this window? Assuming, by the way, let's just take for a second that he'll move on. What would you ask if you were the sporting director? Because I find the Doak situation another strange one. Because I would sit here and say to you, I think he's a really good footballer. I think Ben Doak is exciting. I think he has ability. And I really don't understand why he wouldn't be given a chance at Liverpool this season, especially with Mo maybe going away for those few weeks of the AFCON. It's a weird one. I really do think he's a good player. Maybe the club have a fear about injuries because he has had a few injuries as well. But I don't know. It's an interesting one. He's one that I would have liked to have seen a little bit more of in a Liverpool shirt because I find him an exciting young man to watch. And also, I've told you guys this many, many, many times. I'm a sucker for a pacey winger. I love a young pacey winger just running at defenders. Between 20 and 30 million, said Will. 15 to 20 for Doak, said Tony. 20 million, said Daz. The Richie report, 25 to 35. Drake Floyd, 30. Doak, 25 million, 25 to 30. Yeah, I think upwards of 20 would probably be the answer. But the reason I was asking is I was just trying to gauge kind of what the differences might be between what we'd ask and maybe then what we'd offer for the likes of Marc Guehi. I know they probably wouldn't be straight swap deals, but yeah, I just, again, starting to look to recouping some money, and there's a few articles today to suggest Liverpool could Sorry, I got to bring this up. Actually, I'll go through this one quickly. Happy 1st of July. If you know, you know. I actually don't know what that's about. Is it 420 has happened? I don't know, mate. Sorry, Dale. This one, Barry, holy shit. Jesus. Baza, I don't know what to say, bro. Sorry, man, that's made me emotional. I didn't expect today's stream to be such a swirl of emotions between, coming on. Anyway, let me just read through Barry's comment. Hey, mate, long time no speak. Been watching a bit when I can, but busy at work and fam stuff. Sometimes life just gets in the way. Don't let the naysayers ruin your day. You should feel proud. You're a one-man band in front of the camera and outdoing those with perks on YouTube. £1 for every 1,000 subs. Man, I don't know what to say. Thank you. I'm gonna leave it up because it deserves to stay up longer. Honestly, Barry, I came in today and I've never felt so proud, and I couldn't wait to come on and share it with everybody that we had such a great month. And I won't lie, man, the wind was taken out of my sails by that snidey comment for no reason. And it's kind of shaken me a bit throughout the stream. It's been a bit, I don't know. I don't ever brag much, but I was really proud of that today. So thank you, man. I really appreciate you. Always. And I know that you've been a busy man because I know you've got a few new companies and stuff that you said you were working with. So thank you for everything, Barry. And, I don't deserve it, but thank you, man. I appreciate you. I just hope someday I can meet you in person and say thank you properly. That sounded a little bit over-sexualized, actually, now that I think back on it. But let's say, hopefully I can buy you a meal sometime, mate, to say thank you. So, let's try this again. We're going to go again. Ladies and gentlemen, just in case you hadn't seen it, somehow, over the course of June, little old us have managed to get up there to become the second most viewed dedicated fan channel. So there we go. Little old us. Let's pretend that was take one there. We just did that one. But yeah, look, I'm so proud of us because it wouldn't happen without you guys. So again, thank you. Right, let's keep going. Paul, thank you, man. Appreciate you. Lance said, you and Connor should be proud. You beat every single channel in the world, my friend. Look, I'm proud of football as well. Like everybody on that list. I'm proud of all of us. It just shows that, fan content is moving in the right direction. So whoever is on that list all the way through, I'm just proud of all of us. I'm proud of our industry, doing so well. What's this one they just put in? Oh, okay, same picture. I'd be confused. Okay, so Romano just said Bayern made an approach with the camp of Luis Diaz to understand the situation. No formal proposal, but an approach to understand his situation at Liverpool. Bayern are aware of Al Nassr interest. That last line I find very interesting because they should be, because that's going to set the price. Liverpool, according to multiple reports from journalists, have viewed the money that the Saudi Pro League were willing to pay for Bruno Fernandes as a kind of a jumping off point for the price tag that they'd like to put on Lucho. So if Bayern are interested, they're going to have to come up to that number, or Liverpool just won't entertain it. I think your rank is a symbol that the truth is winning. Keep speaking your mind. That's why I watch. Thank you, Adrian. It's just, mate, it's just one of the proudest days of my life, honestly. I know it sounds silly, but, for us to have got up to that level, even, if it's a short reign or whatever, I'm so proud of all of us. Evening, Craig. Hope you're well. haven't been in the chat for a while, but always watch your content, lad. Always enjoy it. Keep up the amazing work. Thank you, Max. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. And this one from Oliver. Go for number 1 this month. To be fair, we ain't ever getting to number 1. Goldbridge is by far and away the king of our industry. As much as I hate the man, you ain't catching him anytime soon. He is the biggest in our industry, and I despise the lad, but his work rate and his graft, I wouldn't begrudge him the success that he's had. Don't like him, but I certainly don't begrudge him the success he's had, and we won't be catching him. He's miles away ahead there. And but look, if you look at it really quickly, like just to look at it from a subscriber number, United stand, I think, closing in on 2 million if they're not already there. AFTV, who are below us for that month, are over 1 million, and our channel is 329,000, and we're up there, competing, and I'm so proud of that. Stephen said, "You're amazing. This is the best fan channel. I'm glad to be part of it. Can't wait to sign Guehi, Osimhen and Isak, our final 3 signings of the off-season. Your streams bring me the most joy." Thank you, bro. Appreciate you. I love these streams, man. I love coming on and chatting with you all every night about football. And Barry, I've just noticed he's gifted 50 memberships as well. Barry, you're just incredible. Same as Brian and others, mate. S4T yesterday as well. I can never repay that level of support, man. I just want you to know how grateful I am and how much it genuinely means to have the support of people, because I'm just a normal lad. I think that's what I love about our industry as well. Everybody's just normal working class people that took a shot, had a go, put themselves out there, and whether it's the lads at AFTV or Goldbridge or the Irish guy or us or Redmen or the Anfield Rap or any of them, I'm genuinely proud. We're all just working class people that gave it a go, and to be able to do this as your job is a dream. Kept me sane this transfer season. Come across the stream, glad to be a part of it. Thank you, my man. I love it. I love transfer season, but I also find by the time the window closes, I'm probably all transferred out as well. Whether it's good or bad, I do find that I always breathe a little sigh of relief when the windows close, because you can just get back to focusing about what happens on the pitch. And I don't think I've ever been as excited for a new season as I am going into this season. It's because we've built off the back of the success of last season, which is what I wanted previously. So going into this season now, I don't know. I would dare say I'm not on my own with that either. I think a lot of people probably going into this season with a swagger is probably the right way to say it. A swagger, knowing that our boys are serious, and big things could happen. Finty said, "Not many of my family left, but you lot are my fam. Much love, man. Thank you." Same here, bro. I've my mum and dad are dead. I've no brothers and sisters. This is definitely my second family, and I couldn't imagine not doing this. I couldn't. Right, shall we run through all the news from start to finish, and then we'll come back in and have a look at our poll. So if you haven't voted in our poll yet, who should replace Diaz if he leaves? FOFANA, Gordon, Yildiz or Rodrigo? Have your say, and again, I'll read it out. But again, I want to just say one quick thing. Every time... Sorry, I'm getting emotional. Every time I have a knock and feel inadequate, you guys rally around and make me feel loved. And I can never repay that. So like I said, when Connor sent me that image earlier on, my first thought was, I can't wait to come on and tell people tonight. I can't wait to come on and share this with our community, because they've made this possible. So thank you again for all of it, man. Just thank you for all of it. Yeah. Now, to lighten the mood a little bit, let's talk about a funny moment from Alexis McAllister speaking about Dembele. He said, the ball was there, I went with my foot open and he nutmegged me. He left me and immediately the game stopped. And then he came up to me, Dembele, to McAllister and said, bro, don't come so fast next time. That's what he told me. Now, I could have interpreted the bro, don't come so fast in a very different way, but I thought that was just a lovely little moment of two great footballers, having that little moment together. Dembele nutmegging him and then saying to him, you came at me too fast that time, bro. A little bit on Tyler Morton as well from Simon Jones of the Mail, who said Tyler Morton is among the many options on West Ham's radar. He's valued at around £15 million, has interest from Ajax and Portuguese side Braga. Again, probably another player who just looks at it and thinks he needs to go and get game time now. And he does, because again, Tyler Morton's a good footballer. And I'm sure, you certainly know with Jurgen, he felt bad that there were times where he couldn't, let's use Gravenberch as an example. You often heard Jurgen saying that first year, he just didn't play him enough because he couldn't play him enough. And then we heard a similar thing last season from Arna about the likes of Federico and certainly Harvey Elliott. Harvey had that injury, I think it was August time that kept him out till maybe December with a broken foot or a foot injury. So I think Tyler Morton probably falls into the same bracket. No denying he's a good footballer. And I don't like to see football clubs hoarding players if they're not going to get opportunities. So I would say I hope Tyler Morton gets his move this summer because he deserves to go and play. Same with Harvey Elliott. But selfishly, I'd love to keep Harvey Elliott at the club, I would. And also, Gary Lineker and Micah Richards were speaking about it. And Micah Richards, he actually made a really good comparison. Micah Richards basically said, look what happened with Man City and Cole Palmer. And, I'd never really thought about it like that until I'd seen the quote from Micah Richards. And then Gary Lineker kind of agreed with him as well. Micah was basically saying he wouldn't be moving on Harvey Elliott if he was in Liverpool's position. And I get that. I just don't think we could give him the minutes. But I totally do understand that comparison because, look what Cole Palmer did when he left Man City. Look how fast he started life at Chelsea. That's why when I'd read today about the difference in valuations, if there was a buyback clause in it or not, it kind of made me think, yeah, that's probably sensible. Yeah. It's an interesting one. What do we think about that as a comparison, by the way, from Micah Richards saying that basically, look at what happened with Cole Palmer? Because I think it's a fair shout, but I guess the difference there is we've just brought in Wirtz for 116 million, who's the same age. So it's not like Harvey's waiting for a senior player, maybe, like David Silva, to move on. So I guess there would be a bit of a difference in that regard. Archie said, hey Craig, also buzzing for the season. Got tickets to both Bilbao games. Always appreciate your view and love this community. Top notch all around. Sorry, Archie, that wasn't your one. Sorry, Archie, I'll read out. Oh, God. My mistake, Archie. Apologies, bro. Said, hi, Craig. Also buzzing for the season. Got tickets to the Bilbao game. My first time at Anfield. Can't wait to see Wirtz make his Anfield debut. Mate, I'm genuinely buzzing for anybody that got tickets to that doubleheader because, how often are you ever going to get in life to see Liverpool play twice in a row on the same day? It's really cool. And for your first trip to Anfield, I'm buzzing for you, my man. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. The weather will probably be really good. And again, as you said, you're going to get to see back-to-back games. So I hope you have a wonderful time, man. And do come back and let us know how your first visit went. You'll never walk alone. 986 said, hey Craig, congrats on being the best Liverpool channel around. Always appreciate your view and love this community. Top notch. Thank you, man. And again, like I've said, it's all about the community. They're the reason where we are where we are. Ryan said on the Nunes stuff, it's embarrassing to see people blame him for the club putting a stupid fee on him. We need to take our losses and move on. So I haven't, obviously, you know, Ryan, I'm not really on social media, so I don't see a lot of the critiquing, shall we say, of the price. But you are right. It's never the player's fault when a valuation is put on them if it's too high. It isn't. I totally understand your point. And for what it's worth, I was expecting... No, I'll go a bit further than that. So I spoke to a few journalists, let's say November time, around then, and the common consensus amongst those journalists that I spoke to was that if an offer of 50 million came in, they'd bite people's hand off to get that money for Darwin. Now here we are, fast forward, as you said, Ryan, a few months, and we're talking about 70 million as the valuation. And let's be honest, he's not worth 70 million pound. We overpaid. We did. You know, it happens to all clubs. We overpaid. And I agree with you in that I think we should take the hit, you know, close the chapter, get what we can, and move on to bring in the forward replacement. Because I just don't think it benefits anybody if he comes back for pre-season knowing he's not going to be playing next season. I just think if you can get a deal sorted, yes, maybe you're a few million below what you'd want. If Napoli got to 40 million pound guaranteed with some add-ons, I think Liverpool should take that personally. And you know, I dare say you probably agree. The good Kev said, Craig, I know it's not Man City news, but seeing City get knocked out was just amazing to see. Finally, they can take that patch off their shirt. That part, mate, that was the first thing I thought of, Kev, when I'd seen... Because I was watching my phone in bed right up until half-time and extra time. And then I went to sleep, and I thought, I'll check in the morning. And I checked in the morning and seen that Al Hilal had won 4-3, and I was shocked. But then my very next thought was exactly what you've said. Finally, we don't have to look at them in that Club World Cup gold badge anymore, because I don't know about everybody else, but it still winds me up that we were only allowed to wear it for an FA Cup game, and they got to wear it for, I don't know how many years they've had it on at this point, 3. And we weren't allowed to wear it in the league, but the rules were changed for City, and it still to this day pisses me off because it looked damn good on our shirt. Ben said, happy Al Halal Day, my friend. Yeah, it's again, it's two things. One, I think it's a reminder to people that City just are not what they were, and they still have a long way to go. And I just feel like European clubs had a duty to go over there and show the gap in quality. And, you know, you always know when you come up against the likes of Brazilian sides that they take tremendous pride in this competition. They've always taken it seriously, but City, with all due respect, should have wiped the floor with Al Hilal. So should Real Madrid, and I find it. I'm insulted by it on behalf of European football, because there should be a gap there, and for City to go knocked out the way that they have, I just think it's a bit embarrassing, quite frankly. My bro put me on. Love this channel. Keep it up. Thank you. And thank your bro as well for me, mate. Appreciate you. So again, just want to be really honest about this show, because I'm not afraid to admit when things fail for us either. As it sits, we have sold feck all tickets for the Cork show. And I mean literally less than the fingers and toes you have on your hands and feet. So if we don't see any interest in it, we're just going to have to knock it on the head, because we don't want to waste everybody's time. And again, we don't want more people to book a hotel or anything and then be out. So if we don't see that pick up in the next week or so, well, then we're just going to have to cancel the Cork show, because it's not financially viable for anybody. And that's okay, by the way. That's really no problem. Just want to be upfront and honest about it, because, for instance, this show is absolutely flying. Absolutely flying, and I dare say we may even sell that completely out. So just wanted to be upfront and honest with everybody, because, you know, I'm not just about talking about our good times on here. I'm open about everything. And, you know, the Dublin show in the past that we tried to do didn't work out. And it just feels like for whatever reason, we can't sell tickets in Ireland. And we're going to have to be just honest and upfront about that. Where else we go? Right, I promise you I'd run through this news from start to finish, so bear with me and we'll go through it all. So this is done in chronological order, by the way, of when we, you know, put these in here. So Eintracht Frankfurt are not negotiating with any clubs for Hugo Ekitike, and Hugo Ekitike hasn't verbally agreed to join any club. Eintracht aren't expecting any movement until August for him. What's this one? Marc Guehi is now at the top of Liverpool's list, said Florian Plettenberg. Advanced talks are taking place between Liverpool and the 24-year-old centre-back, with Liverpool trying to close the deal. The England international remains under contract with Crystal Palace. Plettenberg said till 2027, but that's wrong. He's got a contract till 2026. He's got 1 year left in his contract. He's just now gone inside that. So probably a typo there from Plettenberg, but he has 1 year left on his Palace deal. David Ornstein said Liverpool want £40 million with a buyback clause, or £50 million without a buyback clause for Harvey Elliott. And he is looking for regular elite first team football, potentially Champions League. Then we had Greg Evans say, recruiting a new centre forward depends on the sale of Darwin Núñez. Napoli and Liverpool have been unable to agree a figure. Also, Fabrizio Romano said Liverpool are working on the signing of Hugo Ekitike, which I believe is an exaggeration of where we're at with the situation. I don't think we are currently working on a deal for any centre forward because, you know, we're going to keep our eye in the market and we certainly would like to get one, but I'm not aware that we're actively talking with anybody yet. This piece here from Ebola said Liverpool could be about to get the green light from Marc Guehi. Ebola have reported the Crystal Palace are closing in on a deal to sign Sporting defender Ousmane Diomande in a deal worth about €55 million or about £47 million, which will be a huge outlay for Crystal Palace. Then we had Alex Crook saying Newcastle United are among the clubs who are interested in signing Harvey Elliott. Elliott is keen on a move away from Anfield this summer. Napoli are considering moving away from Darwin Núñez and onto other targets due to the major gap in valuation with Liverpool, writes Corriere dello Sport. Then we had Ben Jacobs saying, as of Tuesday morning, Liverpool have still yet to receive a formal bid for Darwin Núñez. Napoli still view Núñez as their top target. Valuation remains around €70 million. Again, this time Ed Aarons, Credit Anfield edition for this post, said Liverpool could be willing to offer Ben Doak as a part exchange to sign Marc Guehi, or as part of a deal to sign Marc Guehi, after Crystal Palace expressed an interest in signing him in January. Then we move on to the Malik Fofana situation. Forest have agreed a deal with Olympic Lyon for Malik Fofana, but no agreement yet on the player side. Fabrizio Romano went on to say Fofana waiting for a Champions League club, with Chelsea keen on the player. Next up, we have the situation with Xavi Simons, where Bild said Newcastle United have shown an interest in signing Xavi Simons. However, he doesn't want to join them. Then we have the Konate stuff from Football Insider, who said Ibrahima Konate has rejected Liverpool's opening offer of a contract. Real Madrid, Paris Saint-Germain and Al Hilal are all interested, and Liverpool may be forced to accept offers of around 40 million if he doesn't sign a new deal. Now, what they don't say in here, and what I'd be intrigued by, is what happens if Konate doesn't agree to move this summer? Then we have a big problem. Like, if Konate is willing to move this summer, yeah, I fully expect Liverpool to be somewhat flexible on a fee. But what happens if we won't agree on a move, or if he says, no, I'm running down my deal? Then I think we have to start looking to life without him and plan for it now, in my opinion anyway. Then we have Craig Hope of the Daily Mail exclusive that said Newcastle are set to pull off a coup by signing Isak Morton after the 16-year-old turned down Liverpool's new contract offer. The midfielder has captained England at youth level, and then we just let you guys know that his agent is also Real Madrid's right-back's brother. Then we had L'Equipe in France saying Arsenal are close to reaching a verbal agreement with Sporting striker Victor Gyökeres. The deal is now advancing. Then there was good news for Bournemouth fans. because Antoine Semenyo signed a new contract with them till 2030. Then we moved on to Christian Falk and Alto Belli saying things are getting serious between Bayern and Luis Diaz. Max Erbel has now made a concrete approach to the Colombian winger. Concrete figures were discussed in order to prepare an offer. Diaz is open to a move away from Liverpool. Romano then weighed in to say Bayern made an approach with the camp of Luis Diaz to understand the situation. No formal proposal, but an approach to understand the situation at Liverpool. Bayern are aware of Al Nassr interest. So that's kind of where we're up to at the minute, folks. Let's check in on our poll. But before I do, just a couple super chat here from Fionon. Hi Craig, been watching the channel for the last 3 years. Absolutely love the streams and videos. Keep up the amazing work. Love from Donegal. Thank you, bro. Appreciate you. Why is it every time I've been up to Donegal, though, Fionn, it's freezing? I've never been up there when it's been warm, but what a beautiful part of the country, by the way, especially around Letterkenny and that. So thank you, man. Appreciate your support and 3 years with us as well. Really do appreciate that. Right. The poll. That's the irony of this isn't lost on me. Right. So we said, who should replace Luis Diaz if he leaves? And you can't blame me on this one. You can't blame me on this one. But the answer that you guys voted for was Anthony Gordon with 38% of the vote. You couldn't make it up, honestly. Rodrigo, 28% of the vote in second. Malik Fofana in third. And Keenan Yildiz with 12%. How is it? Whenever I mention Gordon, people lose their minds. And then we put up a poll going, who would you like if Liverpool sell Diaz? And you vote for Anthony Gordon. I mean, you couldn't make it up, but I love it. It's fucking mad, though. For what it's worth as well, I get both sides of this. I get the doubt for the Anthony Gordon situation, totally do. But I also think we'd improve him if he came to us. I think Arna would improve him. I think he'd run through a brick wall to play for us as well. And I think he would give us what I think we're lacking a bit as well, which is pace. You know, of all the great attributes our attack has, outside of maybe Darwin, I think we're lacking in some pace up top. So I wouldn't, Mo's no slouch, but, he is getting older. So, he'd give us that. Craig, my mum's on palliative care, which I know you can personally relate to. What you do and the community helps me more than you can understand, and I'll always relate to AA. It's time with my mum. Thank you. I'm really sorry, Cal, that your mum's in palliative care. And on a separate note, the work that people do in hospices and stuff like that, man, there isn't enough words to express the gratitude that we all have for the great patience and work and love and support that those nurses and doctors give to our loved ones in their final moments and their final time on this planet. So from all of us, bro, I'm really sorry about your mum. I'm very humbled by your kind words about our channel, but I'm sorry for your mum's situation, man, and lots of love to you, bro, from all of us. Scott Michael said, I would have said Fofana, but seeing him with that Man United shirt at the weekend on his Instagram story turned my stomach. Oh, I didn't see that. I haven't seen that one personally, mate, because I don't really look through Instagram, but look at it another way though as well. He did say that, or his agent said that, he's a Liverpool fan, he'd love the move, or maybe I'm putting the fan word in there. Liverpool would be the dream move for him. I can't see us getting both Gordon and Isak. That's a thing for me. Oh, Lee, I agree, mate. Jeez, can you imagine being a Newcastle fan if you'd lost them two in one window? So I totally get it. I've just never really believed that Isak was going to be possible. But one thing today kind of, again, stuck in my mind a bit, and that was, it looks like Newcastle are struggling to attract the calibre of players that they'd want. We've already spoke about the fact that Xavi Simons doesn't have an interest, according to reports in Germany, and they have Champions League football to offer. So I wonder if Isak's looking at that as well and maybe going to use that in leverage to say, look, are the club going to be able to take that step on? Because a club will always talk about the vision and the process and building to something, but a player will then turn around and go, yeah, but these are the prime years of my career. And I think I'm good enough to be winning Champions Leagues. And I think I'm good enough to be playing in a team challenging to win the Premier League. And as good as Newcastle have been for them and as good as their fans are and the club is, they ain't there yet. So, can you realistically look to keep a player who could be playing for a club that challenge for major honours? I don't know. I really don't know. So it's an interesting one to see how it works out. Gordon played for Everton, right? And he was also released by our academy. So, yeah, I don't know what that means. He's a Liverpool fan. So, and he, would love to play for us. But again, I totally understand the doubt as well. Did you get a chance to come around to the email I sent? You're going to have to be a little bit more helpful than that one, mate. I don't know which precise email it is. But again, I will adhere to get to it. I just don't know which email it was. Saw Frimpong at Anfield November. He's rapid and can finish. Yeah, he's brilliantly fast. He's fast, definitely. And again, he's going to give us a different dimension. What happened to the interest in Angelo Stiller? It's a very good question. And the truth is, mate, I don't know because, he's still there. I know Madrid were mentioned with him at one point, but I don't know what the situation is because I don't know if we're actively looking for a defensive midfielder or a deeper lying midfielder cover at the minute. I think the preference right now would be to get in a centre back, because we still haven't got that announcement on Kwanzaa's deal either that I've seen from Leverkusen or Liverpool to say that deal's gone through. So, I'd expect Liverpool to move quite quickly now to try to get Marc Guehi over the line. Where can I buy hospitality tickets for the United game? I don't know if there's any left on the club site, mate. I haven't checked out, but that's where we got our ones from. Other than that, honestly, Stephen, I don't know. And also, there's various levels of different hospitality tickets. So you've got all the way from, let's say, the Upper Annie Road end or the or Brody's bar tickets. You've got the Carlsberg dugout in the main stand. Then you've got like 8's Lounge, 7's Lounge. You've got the Japan Airways Lounge, which is really expensive, like £1,700-1,800 expensive. So yeah, look, if they're not on the club site, I don't know. I wouldn't even want to direct you to the secondary market because God, I can only imagine the markup on that. But I was very fortunate, as I said, Stephen, that Brian got in early and grabbed the ticket for me for the 7's Lounge for that game. Have you guys seen the Bohemians and Oasis jersey, by the way? If you don't know much about Irish football, Bohemians are a club that do lots of great charitable stuff and have put out a load of shirts over the years, from like a Thin Lizzy shirt to a Bob Marley shirt, and this year they teamed up with Oasis and it was released today. So if you want to have a look at that one, Google the Bohemians Oasis shirt, and it's going to be their cup shirt, I believe, for this season. And again, not too badly priced either. €75 for the shirt is reasonable enough in this day and age, and 50% of the money going to charitable causes as well. Craig, is Fofana going to Forest because I want him at Liverpool? Well, seemingly he doesn't want to go to Forest. I think Forest have agreed a fee with Lyon, according to a report from earlier on from Fabrizio. Said Forest have agreed a deal with Olympic Lyon for Malik Fofana, but no agreement on the player side. Fofana waiting for Champions League clubs, with Chelsea still keen on the player, but no mention of Liverpool there from Romano, at least in that little bit anyway. Rory said boo to Bose. Mate, I'm a Shells fan, so I get it, but it would be rude of me not to bring it up because, again, I think it's really cool what Bohemians do there, and they've done stuff for the Simon community, Fontaine's DC as well in the past. So yeah, big up to Bose on that. I reckon Wirtz is going to have 15 goals and 20 Premier League assists this season. Don't have a clue about all comps numbers from. I don't know what to expect from Florian Wirtz numbers-wise, but I'm expecting some sexy football. And I'm expecting him to hit the ground running as well, by the way. I don't think it's going to take him too long to settle. I think he'll do well. I'm intrigued though to see how we start with the right back situation and left back situation. So is it going to be straight away that we see Milos and Jeremy playing, or maybe will he ease in those guys and will we see Robbo start the season at left back and Bradley at right back? So these are the type of things that I'm really interested to see, how quickly Arne feels that the boys are up to speed with the tactical and speed of the Premier League and the tactical side of what he wants to do. Also expecting us to change the way we play a little bit next season. I think we'll play through the lines a lot more than maybe we have in previous years. I hope Kerkez starts over Robbo. Yeah, I'm intrigued to see if he does or not. Again, I would agree. Like, I think Robbo was up and down last year. Now, we did start the season coming off the back of an injury, so never really got into that rhythm. But I'm just intrigued to see how quick he goes with it. Because, Kloppo, as an example, used to wait a while before introducing players into the starting 11 when they came in. I remember when we brought in Oxlade-Chamberlain and Robbo even. It took a long time. Stephen said, Craig, 4 weeks away from the new kit getting released. What's your favourite top out of the three? The green one. Hands down, the green one. I can't wait to buy that. The green one, I'm going to get the Champions League badge on it. And I think the Premier League one, I'll just get the normal shirt, the red one. The white one won't be for me because, I'm too fat to wear white. So the green and the red ones. But what's really going to set my bank account back is the retro stuff when that comes out. What's the latest on Van Bronckhorst? Nothing new, Nasser. I mean, it's as far as I'm aware, mate, it's all agreed. Even Paul Joyce posted about it, but we've yet to, again, have an official announcement from the club on him joining the staff. But same with Georgie Mamadash, really, for what it's worth. We still haven't had that official announcement about, his number or his media day or anything like that. So, yeah, I think these are things that we'll probably see happen relatively soon because, of course, pre-season starts in about a week. No polls. We've already done 2 on the stream so far, mate. If you have a suggestion from, by all means, chuck it in and we'll have a vote on it. But we've done one on the wingers that you'd like to see replace Diaz, and we've done one on whether you think Diaz is sold this summer. So any other polls you'd like to see, by all means, man, give me a suggestion. I'll put it in for you. I can't wait for pre-season training, said LFC Tyler. Bro, I'm the same. I'm not normally as excited for pre-season, but God, I can't wait to see the lads in the... I just can't wait to see them out there on the pitch doing their thing. The good Kev said, all the shirts this coming season are amazing. Adidas do what they do. I'm loving it. Red one, Wirtz. White one, Maka. Green one, Wirtz Champions League. What about Jones or Elliott? As a poll? Yeah, that could be fun. Let's try that. So, let me just go with this then. Okay. Right, so wait. Sorry, I'm just trying to fix my own shocking spelling here. Right. Who would you rather lose this summer? Harvey Elliott or Curtis Jones? Now, there is absolutely zero indication of Curtis Jones departing the club. Let me say that. But it is something that I've seen quite a bit in comments and on forums and stuff like that. And then when our friend there brought it up a moment ago, I thought, you know what? Sounds like a fun poll, because I'm intrigued to see what your answer is on it. I have my own answer, but I want to see what you guys think, and I don't want to corrupt your answer. So yeah, let's have just had a flash that said Osimhen to Chelsea. See, that I always thought would have happened. Go back and watch the streams a while ago. I said to you, I always had a feeling that he was Chelsea bound, not because of information or anything, just because he feels like a Chelsea player. But is that true? Where did you see it, if you don't mind me asking, mate? Or were you just saying you just had a thought of it? Wayne, how are we, dude? Said WFM Craig, if no one puts the money on the table for Núñez, so you think he'll go out on loan with an option to buy, I'd take a swap for Osimhen. So would I at this point, mate. I would have. I believe Liverpool absolutely have a plan for the striker situation. I can't believe that they don't, but I also think that most of us feel that Darwin's been overvalued. And as Ryan said earlier on, it's kind of unfair to him if moves are breaking down because of our valuation of him. You know, that's not something he can control. So the idea that maybe we end up having to loan him out, I hope it doesn't come to that. I'd rather see Liverpool be able to get a concrete deal done for a sale. Harvey's a better player, but I'd rather keep Curtis due to his position and the fact he's a Scouser. Yeah, there's some really interesting little nuances to this, which is why I'm interested to see how everybody votes. Because like you've said, I think Elliott probably is a better player, but Jones is more versatile. He's also Scouse, like you've said. He's also seemingly one that the manager thinks works in his system better. So it is interesting, because if I asked this a year ago, I dare say we'd all have voted Jones would be the one that we'd move on. But I am intrigued to see how people vote now. And he has progressed this season as well. Give Curtis Jones his credit on that one. For me, it's been his best season in a Liverpool shirt. In a senior Liverpool shirt, I should say. Ideally, neither, if they don't mind on and off games. Well, it feels an almost certainty at this point that Elliott moves on this summer, because unless Arne has a change of heart maybe and turns around and thinks he can guarantee Elliott enough games, but realistically with the midfield options there, I don't see it. You know, you can rule out the Gravenberg position because Elliott can't play in that. So then you've got Maka, Szoboszlai, Wirtz, Jones, Elliott, all for those advanced positions, for two positions. And he's probably fifth in the pecking order there. So I just don't see him being able to get the game time. And we haven't even included, you know, other fringy type players there, like Endo, who obviously is deeper lying, McConnell. So I just don't see that we could give him the guarantee of enough game time. And he deserves to kick on as well. In an ideal world, yeah, there'd be a way the manager could look at it and think, all right, I can give Harvey 30 games a season in some way or another. Because I think we all like him, and certainly we all feel he's had an incredible tournament with the under-21 English team. Hardest vote ever, said Melv. Yeah, that's why I thought it was an interesting one. And by the way, it's 50-50 at the minute. It's 50-50. So if you haven't yet, do have a vote on it, because it's really close. Who would you rather lose this summer, Harvey Elliott or Curtis Jones? Now, bear in mind, like I've said, there's no indication at all that Jones is moving on. In fact, I'm 99.99999% certain he'll still be here, but it's an interesting question. Patrick, how are we, Patrick? Patrick Sundraisen said, my opinion, sell Diaz, value, play Diaz as cover for Gakpo. Or excuse me, my apologies, mate. You said play Núñez as cover for Gakpo. He played there for his previous club. Use the money from Diaz's sale towards buying a good striker. What's your take on this? So I can understand the suggestion, Patrick, because, you know, he has operated off the left, like you've said. For me, though, it's still a same problem. You know, is he good enough to go past his men like a winger should? No, not for me. Will he come up with the assists that you would expect from a winger? No. And also, and like I said, I don't like his attitude to the club, and it really annoyed me when he threw out that post about now I know why I'm not playing in relation to the add-ons for Benfica. I found that incredibly disrespectful. So for me, I just want him gone at this point, but that's just me. I know others still hold out some hope for him. I just think it's been long enough, and it's been two different coaches, and it just isn't working out. And I think the best thing for everybody is to just cut ties and move on. F4MR said Jonathan David to Juventus. Yep, that's certainly one that's getting closer. I don't know if it's been confirmed now, but like you said, they were certainly the front runners in the last day or so. Was that a bit tongue-in-cheek by Darwin, though? Well, what about not going over to applaud the travelling cop that sang his name even when he was thinking up the gaff in that game? What about his previous social media post as well, or taking down his social media? I just don't think he feels comfortable at Liverpool, personally. And it's a shame. You know, you never don't want these things to work out. Like, I take absolutely no pleasure in sitting here saying I think he should move on because I wanted it to work, but it hasn't. Ross said, need to let Harvey go, play first team football, too good to be on the bench. Stephen said, can we all laugh at City? Laugh, and I think we should also be a little bit annoyed at them because, you know, them and Chelsea are there representing the Premier League and European football, and I think it's a shocking look to be knocked out by Al Hilal in the Club World Cup, personally. So, yeah, laugh at them, but also I'm kind of, on behalf of European and Premier League football, I'm annoyed by it. Yeah, not clapping away fans is a joke. You're right there. Especially of all the fans, mate. Like, if you want to moan about social media or whatever, I get it. But those particular subset of fans, the ones that, you know, travel away for Liverpool games, they've been incredibly supportive of Darwin Núñez. Like, whatever about me moaning at him or anybody else, those travelling copites have been nothing but supportive of Darwin. Sang his name at every opportunity, even when he was having a mare. So yeah, that's why that particular thing wound me up as well, because they've been brilliant to him. They really have. Could Elliott not be cover for Salah? I just don't think he's fast enough. But for me, Daniel, I don't want him to go. I like Harvey Elliott. I wonder if he suffers from the touch of James Milner and Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain syndrome, in that he doesn't have a standout position, if you get me. Like, he can be a 10, he can be a wide player, he can play between the lines, he can play as an 8, he can play as an 8.5, but he isn't a bona fide anything, if that makes sense. Like, you brought in Wirtz, he's a 10, and yes, he can operate in a wide position, but he's thought of as a 10. You bring in Maka, you know, he's a central midfielder. I just think maybe with Elliott, it's a little bit of, he can do a bit of everything, but does he excel in one area? Probably not, or one position, I should say. Just proves that Pep hasn't got his new tactics, because all he did was put more players on the pitch when it went wrong. Slot is happy to adapt any minute. Think number 21 is incoming. I think it should give us a bit of confidence again going into next season that City still aren't at the level that they would want to be at. Probably an advanced 8, but we don't play that, said Spency. Whoever gets them will be addition. Look, they're going to get a good player, and a very, very good player who, you know, I think would be a fan favourite wherever he goes as well, Harvey Elliott, because he's a good kid. So we've a little bit of a gap forming in the poll now. So if you haven't voted, please do. We've about 10 minutes left on tonight's stream. So we asked, who would you rather lose this summer if you had to lose one, Elliott or Jones? Now, again, there's no indication to suggest that Curtis Jones is moving on. It was just a question put in the chat by somebody. Do you have any idea when Kerkez First State Liverpool video comes out? I don't know, British colonizer, mate. Obviously, we've seen the Wirtz one come out. And also, he became a dad as well, Kerkez, so congratulations to that, Milos. Hopefully it's soon, because I can't wait to watch it. I love those. They're one of my favourite bits of content the club put out, the signing day vlogs. There was a report earlier in the summer that Leverkusen wanted Jones. Yeah, no, I'm so sorry. I certainly didn't mean to suggest there wasn't interest in Jones. Just he's not going to be sold this summer. But you're right. There would, if there was any indication that we would, I'm sure there'd be plenty of teams interested. I mean, Arsenal were interested in him at one point. Cal said, "Are Arsenal the new interested FC?" Maybe. Again, their signings have not blown me away either. Zubamendi's a really good footballer, and I would have had him at Liverpool, and I'm not going to rewrite history on that one, but, the rest of the business that they're doing, it doesn't really scare me. If they get in Eze, it'll be a good signing. It will. But, Norgard so far, and it's not putting the fear of God into me for next season anyway. I think we should go for Šeško. What are your thoughts on that? I'm somebody that believes he's got everything to succeed. He's probably overpriced. I agree with Arsenal's stance on that. Is Benjamin Šeško worth 85 million? No, not at the minute, but he could be. So I've also found it very weird that there's been relatively few links, because if you look at it from the outside, well, Red Bull's brand of football is genuinely one that we pay attention to because it's similar. Jurgen's there as well. So I'm surprised we haven't maybe seen more links to Liverpool to Benjamin Šeško, but, so far, not really much written there. They're in for Madueke. Yes, I'd seen that actually. Thank you for bringing that up, because I'd forgotten about it till you mentioned it. But again, that's just not going to make me scared either. Madueke, it's not going to make me scared of them bringing him. If they brought Rodrigo in, I'd be far more concerned. What's your ideal Salah backup? Tough one to answer, because you either look at it and say you want a young player like young Rio who can maybe move over time into that position, or you wait and then you bring in Salah's replacement last minute, knowing that you're going to have to commit probably a good chunk of money to it. It's a very interesting one to see how the club are going to go about succession planning for Mo. It's a tough one. I'm sure that they've got people in mind and talents in mind, and young Rio is going to be a star. But whether he operates from the left, from the right, let's wait and see. Salah backups, Bakayoko, Kudo, or Dibbling. Actually, yes, Tyler Dibbling's an interesting shout, because his name has gone quite quiet this summer. Unless I'm just not following the links to Tyler Dibbling, but I did think he'd have been snapped up early in the window from Southampton, especially after they lowered their initial valuation by about 40 million. Is there any interest in Costas, and what's your valuation of him? So I was reading something earlier on the Echo, again running through some valuations, and I think their suggestion for Costas was about 15 million, which I don't think is too far off. I think somewhere between 12 and 18 million is kind of where I'd be at with Costas. But I don't know of any club that are, apart from Leeds, that was the only club I remember really seeing linked to Costas, and that was a while back, but don't know. I think Liverpool probably just want to wait to hear from Andy Robertson before they decide what to do around the Costa situation, because, Robbo's, that move to Madrid isn't happening, Atletico Madrid, but I think the club still want to wait to see what Robbo wants to do. And selfishly, I hope he stays. Rishi said Salah backup Kvaratskhelia. Yeah, but he's just moved to PSG, and fair to say that move's going well for him as well. Frimpong for Salah backup maybe. Look, he's going to be an option, but look again. I also don't really want to talk about a Salah backup yet because we've just got 2 new years of him, and let's enjoy watching him for that time. We were all nervously waiting to see if we would get a new deal for Salah, and we are, and we have. So let's just enjoy him, and let's not talk about the replacements just yet. Right. So on our poll, we've got about 3 or 4 minutes left. If you haven't voted, and this is just for a bit of fun, we're asking, who would you rather lose this summer, Harvey Elliott or Curtis Jones? Olise is the Salah replacement in 2 years. He's brilliant. I mean, he's really kicked on as well since going to Bayern. He's a really good footballer, Olise. I was a bit surprised at that move initially when he made it, but yeah, he's doing well over there. Thank you, Karen. Appreciate you. So congratulations for coming second in the viewing ratings. You'll smash United this season. I mean, I'm incredibly proud of it, yeah, incredibly proud of it, Karen, and thank you. Are you expecting an even better season? Oh, I don't know, David, because it sounds really arrogant to sit here and say, yeah, I'm expecting better than a Premier League win because, a Premier League win's an amazing season, and I waited 30 years to see Liverpool win the Premier League or win the title again. So a repeat of that would be more than enough for me personally, but I think we can look at it and certainly feel we're capable of anything next season. Like, we could be capable of a double, we could be capable of picking up 3 trophies, who knows, It'll also depend how we finish this window, because we've started it well, but we still have business to do. So we are only 19 likes away from 1,000. If you have a second, please do hit that like button for me as well. How many goals do you think Salah will score next season? Cormac, all in all comps, I'm going to guess, be away for the AFCON. 27, 28 is going to be my guess in all comps, because I think we'll share them round a bit more, especially if we bring in a new number 9. So I'm going to go 27, 28 in all comps. How do you get XP on your live streams? Excuse my absolute stupidity, but what do you mean by XP? I don't know what you mean by that, mate. Sorry. Do you mean like... Yeah, I don't know what you mean by XP. Sorry. Excuse my stupidity there. Do you think Slot will be put under pressure on getting a good start to the season? I mean, you should always be under pressure at Liverpool to have a good start to the season, yes. And, we don't have a disruption for a preseason, so yeah, I'd certainly expect to hit the ground running. Top fans ranking. Oh, I've no idea, mate, how that works. I haven't got a clue. It's something YouTube introduced recently, and I have no idea. No idea how the ranking system works, mate. Haven't got a clue. Craig, you'll beat Goldberg's next. Nah, I don't think we ever will, Lauren, to be honest. That's a different league of numbers. Look at nearly 2 million subscribers there. We're at 329,000. Look, I'm extremely humbled that we are where we are. Like, that's more than I ever thought was possible. On that Salah question, who'll be our top scorer next season? It's hard to say without knowing if we get number 9 or not. But, Salah won't be far off. Right, let's finish up this poll. So we asked, who would you rather lose this summer? Harvey Elliott or Curtis Jones? And 52% of you said... said Harvey Elliott over Curtis Jones. Sorry, I'm just looking at a post. Oh, cool. Sorry, yeah. Mark was just filling me in on the XP thing, sorry. Right, ladies and gents, I'm going to go record the late news update because Connor's just put a few new updates into my inbox. Just again want to say huge thank you to you all for helping us to get to that level. I mean, as you can see there on the screen, to be the second most viewed dedicated fan channel on YouTube for June was absolutely a dream. So thank you, all of you, for that. We would be nothing without you guys and your amazing support. So I'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place, and keep an eye out for that news video dropping in a bit. Appreciate you all. Have a good